So after damn near a decade, the unemployed grease merchants that actually give a shit about all this can finally stand up and rejoice, as just a couple days ago, Idubbbz released his long-awaited content cop on Ethan Klein, and let me just say that unfortunately, it didn't really live up to all the hype. In fact, it's actually, dare I say, a pretty awful video, and I figured today we could go over it together. I know I'm a few days late on this, but like, come on, can y'all really expect your favorite content piggy to break down a 1-hour slop video hot off the presses? You know, when I have to do things like go to work and maintain the status quo. It's bullshit, I know, but I digress. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and roll this shit. I'm sure it'll be oh so educational, as always.
The beach is surprisingly dangerous. Consider the
fucking thing in our defense, like, actually, Hila's not a baby killer. Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group that anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people.
What we do here is go back.
So when I saw this intro, I was like, damn, that's pretty good. And I thought we were back, baby. You know, I thought we were getting the old content cop back. I mean, I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with the old content cops, but these videos were peak cinema, man. You know, some of the best videos out at the time, as they were both critical and entertaining. But unfortunately, you know, like I said in the intro, none of that magic was really recaptured in the latest installment. Plus, when I saw these motherfuckers running around, I knew an hour of my time was wasted and I was just overall cooked.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Time to be awake, Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up.
Ethan, wake up.
Wake up, Ethan.
Ethan, wake up.
I'm not gonna do a react content yet, chat.
Like, I'm not even kidding, you know, no joke. This is my nightmare blunt rotation. I'd be tweaking the fuck out, pacing laps around my house, and just overall on the verge of ending it all if I had to be in the same room as these people for more than 5 seconds. But I guess with all of the jokes out of the way, let's go ahead and actually take a look at some of the content that the content cop has provided us with.
All right. I didn't plan on making a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. H3 content cop, Idubbbz. Ethan Klein's out of control. And then you should do a content cop on Hassan Piker. Content cop on Sargon of Akkad. If I would imagine this in 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because I lose the plot. Well, it turns out it's not me losing the plot, it's Ethan. He's the one who fucking attacked first.
So I find it kind of hard to believe, you know, I hate when these people start off the video by saying, oh, I didn't expect to make a video on this, and then you keep in mind that the video is 1 hour long. So like, obviously you did plan on making this video, so just cut with the bullshit. Like, that's literally why you're here in front of the camera, because you planned on making that video. But that's neither here nor there. But what I also thought was pretty funny here, and as y'all will soon see as well, Ian actually is the one who lost the plot here. You know, I just kind of thought that comment was pretty ironic. It just sort of lacks any sort of, I don't know, like self-awareness, because already at the surface, this does indeed seem like a pretty stupid idea. You know, reviving an old series from damn near a decade ago to just basically shit on someone that you knowingly don't like. Like, at the surface, this kind of sounds like a dumb idea. And I kind of had my skepticism, but I truly wanted to believe this was going to be a good video. But you'll soon see that this idea is especially stupid when you take into account how he ends up orchestrating everything. Like, take a look at this, for example.
The state of Israel, America's greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, if you ask Republicans and even liberals.
Well, the dance he invented was so kick-ass.
Israeli settlers are trying to evict Palestinian families in occupied East Jerusalem. The United Nations says that may be a war crime. It literally is.
It's just eating the toppings. And the pizza looked like a burn victim. It was all disgusting.
I don't know if you can make that joke in 2021.
Why?
It's insensitive to burn victims.
I think it's a good analogy. It's a powerful image.
Ethan was not prepared for this. Ethan, the whole time, is more of the goof guy. And that's fine, you know, we don't expect Ethan to be an expert on the topic. Ethan was obviously caught in this tricky situation where he is extremely sympathetic to the Israeli cause and what's happening to them. His wife's Israeli, she served in the IDF. He obviously likes the state of Israel. On the other hand, he's just got done capturing a massive progressive audience who are very politically savvy. They follow Hassan. Hassan is strictly a political streamer, so this is something they're very keyed into.
So let's just go ahead and start right here, man. You know, let's break this down. So Ian is trying to be critical of Ethan, but his argument doesn't really make any sense because, I mean, he said it himself, you know, he's just the goof guy, right? You know, he's the court's jester, you know, you don't take Ethan Klein seriously, right? So why is it that he's choosing now to take Ethan's opinion so seriously? Like, it's just really strange behavior, especially when you consider the fact that, and Idubbbz said this, you know, that his wife is Israeli and even served in the IDF. So, like, to me, it seems almost as if Ian is trying to back Ethan into a corner that he can't escape from, when in reality, it's very understandable that Ethan might feel this way towards the conflict over there. Like, he's trying to be critical, but all he's really doing, at least in my opinion, is justifying Ethan and making me empathize with him more. Like, are you for him or against him? I'm confused. But also, he took the time, you know, with that little Hassan clip there, back and forth between Hassan and Ethan, he took the time to paint Ethan Klein out in a way that makes him seem, I don't know, almost unserious or even spineless. Just pointing out the fact that he ignored the conflict in Palestine and didn't say anything back then, but then later on in the video, he tells him that he can just shut the fuck up about it and that saying nothing is an option as well.
Also, let's talk about AB and Lena, two Lebanese employees, and you just continue to talk about the conflict like they don't exist. It would be nicer, a lot nicer, for you to shut the fuck up about it. You're allowed to do that.
It's like, again, which is it, dude? It almost seems like a lose-lose for this guy, at least in the eyes of Idubbbz. And I don't know, I just feel like this video is really unfair when you consider both those points. Like, if he does nothing, he's one of those safe, cowardly commentators, but then if he states his opinion, you know, suddenly he's not qualified to speak on this, you know, he should just shut the fuck up. You see what I'm saying? Like, this video doesn't really seem to lack any previous bias that he has towards the guy, and it doesn't really seem to provide any sort of critiquing either, which is honestly the whole premise behind Content Cop in the first place. And therefore, in my opinion, I feel like overall this video is just a waste of your time to watch. You know, it's not so much a Content Cop as much as it is a blatant display of the hatred Idubbbz has for Ethan, as well as the hatred he has for his politics. You know, as the vast majority of this video is just like the clip you just saw. You know, it continues down a similar road regarding the Israel and Palestine conflict and just other political nonsense anyway. Like, we watch these types of videos to escape some of this stuff, but that's really all it seems to be about.
At the moment, we are writing 3 complaints for 3 people.
You are doing the classic rich asshole thing. You have a deficit of friends, you have a surplus of enemies. You feel really bad, you feel hurt, but you also have a surplus of money. So what can you do? You can use that money to bully and intimidate people. These public legal threats that you're making to fellow creators, these legal threats that you're making to people on Reddit, on Twitter, you're like, I'm hurt. These people are hurting me. What do I do to stop it? There's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm powerless. No, you have a ton of power, you have a ton of options, you have a ton of choice. That's exactly what you get for being filthy rich, is you can do all of these things.
So I know one of the most hated people online and one of the biggest falls from grace isn't out here talking about some, oh, you know, you have a deficit of friends, buddy, you fucking loser. Like, again, where's the self-awareness? But he's not suing these people to bully them, right? Or to take advantage of them. No. You see, he's suing these people because they've slandered him. You know, they've painted these claims that, quite frankly, could be damaging to his reputation, his career. And as a matter of fact, in one of the biggest potential lawsuits he's involved in, involves Denims, who Ian in this very video actually admits to being friends with, and he says something to the effect of like, she's this great person. Yeah, well, this great person just so happened to have called CPS on Ethan and his wife. You know, she fabricated this whole ridiculous story trying to get them to have their kids taken away. It was a fucking mess. Like, it's truly disgusting behavior, like unbelievable. Just because she doesn't like them. Like, that's literally all it stemmed over, is because she doesn't like him, doesn't like his political ideas. And essentially what she said is that these kids were like living in this pigsty, you know, they were eating dog shit off the ground and like contracted some sort of disease. Like, I'm so dead ass. I'm so for real right now. Like, you can look this up. And they honestly could have lost their kids over these dangerous, petty little lies. So like I said, this isn't to bully anyone. It has nothing to do with money. Like, where does this guy get off accusing these legitimate victims of pulling the victim card while simultaneously pulling the victim card on behalf of his shitty friends? You know, Hassan, Rogan, Denims. These people are not victims. These people have slandered this man and they've tried to destroy everything he's worked hard to build up. These people do not deserve being defended. They don't deserve your sympathy. And the way he speaks down on Ethan's wealth and success too, it just sort of rubbed me the wrong way. Because it's like, buddy, pal, listen, you've benefited a great deal from your previous online career. You know, he's got 7 million subs now, had super popular videos. God only knows how much money this dude made in his prime of his career. And then on the flip side, you know, your girlfriend's making God knows how much off of OnlyFans, and so I don't want to hear this whole eat the rich bullshit rhetoric come from this guy's mouth ever again. Like, why is he talking like this? Is he jealous? I don't know. But also, you know, side note too, you got to be one sad motherfucker to sub to that OnlyFans in particular, because like, seriously dog, out of all the hustlers on that website, that's the one we landed on. Seriously? Sure, fuck it, why not? But yeah, this whole eat the rich mentality when it's like, bro, you've literally benefited a great deal from your career online. Like, what the fuck, man? Like where's the self-awareness? And in typical fashion, you know, many times throughout this video, he makes accusatory statements and or he provides nothing of substance, right? You know, that's the biggest problem with this video is that, like, he really thinks he's cooking, you know, like, it's acting like he's Walter White from Breaking Bad, you know, cooking some blue, yellow, pink, when in reality it's just a nothing burger. He provides nothing of substance, and he eventually backpedals on these claims and claims, oh, you know, well, he's still creepy, or, oh, he was still being weird. You know, they always do that, man. Anytime they don't have a legitimate argument, they always go with the, yeah, well, he's still weird card. And you see that multiple times throughout this video, too. So it's just like, that's just one more thing that makes this video dog shit.
I think Ethan understands this concept very well. He listened to these women on his show when they told him that he shouldn't be calling women bitches.
This bitch is intolerable. You are such a nasty fucking bitch, Ken.
I don't know if you can call her a bitch, though.
She is a bitch.
Holy shit, guys, this is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a fucking drill. Ethan Klein just called a woman a bitch, bro. He definitely deserves the electric chair, you know, lethal injection. He deserves the firing squad, if you want my honest opinion. But, like, seriously, he called a woman a bitch, and Ian's acting like he just perpetrated 9/11-2 or some shit. Like, it's never that serious, bro. What's crazy, too, is this is coming from the guy who was once super edgy. Like, it's actually kind of crazy to think how edgy Idubbbz used to be, and he's since become this little soy boy. It's honestly so sad to see, because his whole character, you know, his whole demeanor throughout this entire video just seems so goddamn disingenuous. You know, I as a matter of fact, I know as soon as the cameras are turned off, he's ripping the N-word casually. That's crazy. But, like, it just never seems real with this guy. You know, anytime I see a video from him, it just seems so forced, man. And look, I understand, you know, like, people change, you know, people grow up, you know, we're not edgy teenagers forever, you know, we eventually move out of our mother's basement or whatever. But, like, it's crazy to think how he's gone from the Idubbbz we know back in 2017 to this hollow shell of a man that we see before our eyes now. And I think this comment on his very own video perfectly describes what I'm saying here. This person said, the amount of internet brain rot you have to have consumed to truly comprehend how we got here from the rice gum video to this is bordering on psychosis. And I had to leave a fat fucking like on that because Drew!
Oh, another thing I need to mention. There was a tier list. It was called the Who Can Say Habibi tier list. It was presented at TwitchCon as like a panel that was just meant to be lighthearted and fun. And Ethan Klein saw that, and he decided that it was anti-Semitic.
Tier list them, and we're going to need your help to discuss and figure out who can say Habibi and who can't.
And also, we have tiers. We have Arab coded. They ask permission to say Habibi. You know, like you got like a white guy who's like, can I say it? Is it a slur? And then Love Sabra, which is they're not Arab coded at all.
Now, when I first saw this tier list, I immediately knew what it was doing. I was like, oh, it's a play on the who has the N-word pass and who doesn't tier list.
This segment is honestly one of the very few shining moments from this 1 hour long brain rot compilation, because though it is sort of a nothing burger, it does kind of expose some of Ethan Klein's hypocrisy a little bit. But like, I mean, who isn't hypocritical from time to time? Because I guess he like got these Arab creators that were doing this just to be funny and, you know, have a good time at TwitchCon or whatever. He got those creators suspended from Twitch for like 30 days. And so that is kind of shitty. Yeah, it is pretty hypocritical. But like this whole segment of the video at the end of the day, if you really break it down, bro thinks he's like the fucking Martin Luther King Jr. of fucking hummus, man. You know, talking about Sabra and shit. Like, what the fuck am I hearing, man? It's just overall a nothing burger in every sense of the word. Like I said, this is one of the few moments where he like kind of makes sense, but still, it's nothing. I've been watching this video for damn near an hour, and I haven't received anything of substance.
I have challenged some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet.
Ethan, I think it's respectable that you even began this journey to leave behind the anti-SJW crowd and step into a more empathetic worldview. I know it's not easy.
Ethan Klein, I think that when you are being goofy, when you're being silly, when you are being lighthearted, and just having fun with your friends, I think that is when you're at your best. So I'd love to see more of that. That'd be sick.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports for good that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
But I really think that ending there is just the cherry on top of the shit cake, man. I mean, let's be real with ourselves for a second. You really expect all of us to believe that, you know, despite attacking this man's character, his career, and even his family, y'all genuinely believe those things that you're saying? I'm just not buying it, man. To me, it seems like some sort of pathetic attempt to, like, I don't know, take the moral high ground and appear better than their contender, instead of taking any sort of accountability, which is something that Ian made a big stink about the entire video. They all make these shitty low effort, yeah, woohoo, you go, Ethan, ow, kind of videos, right? Like, this to me proves nothing and does little to propel the narrative. All it really does is make a very poor video look even worse, in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, man. I thought this was a huge disappointment. It was very underwhelming. It accomplished absolutely nothing, and I just feel like Ian, Idubbbz, whatever you want to call him, is never going to return to full form. And kind of like I mentioned earlier in the video, to me that's just really sad, because he was like a YouTube juggernaut at one point, made really good content, and now it's just like, what can you really do? The content sucks, the content cop sucks, and I guess all we can do now is just continue on with our lives. But thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more amazing content just like this. I'm out for now. I'm done yapping. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.